As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Winner of the week is the 12-team playoff over the 4-team playoff. As this season unfolds, if this doesn't, and knowing that it's coming, if this doesn't make you really want the 12-team playoff, I don't know what would. Like, if you were to look at it right now, and I know things would change, the 12 teams and the way that it would unfold right now would be the first 4 games that happen on campus would be Alabama at USC.
Oh, my
Give me some of
gosh.
that. This one's interesting, but I still think it'd be a great game. Tulane at Michigan. Tulane's defense is excellent, but that's like your one game that's a little bit off the radar of 5-12, which I don't think Tulane is out of that game. And then you would have Ole Miss at Tennessee, and then you would have Clemson at LSU. That's your first round games. That is awesome. And then obviously winner of USC Alabama plays Georgia, winner of Michigan Tulane plays Oregon, winner of Tennessee Ole Miss would play TCU, and winner of LSU Clemson would play Ohio State. Give us a 12-team playoff right now. It's got to happen. And I refuse to hear any argument about a weaker regular season. It's totally not true. You can shut it down at any point. The regular season is incredibly weak right now because you've got like 5 or 6 teams that can actually make the playoff. Every other game is meaningless. Whenever you open it up to 12, you just have so many more games that are meaningful for teams trying to wedge themselves into that final 12. So I love it.
So I think the 12-team playoff you just laid out there was last week's rankings.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So, but still, I believe it would be with the updated ones, right? So Tennessee drops to 5. And just so you know, Tennessee's my winner of the week. We'll get to that. But Tennessee would be hosting UCLA.
I see.
And then the 6-11 matchup would be Oregon would be hosting Ole Miss. The 7-10 LSU would host Clemson, and then the 8-9, USC would host Bama. I don't know if that's it. I may have just repeated exactly what you said.
No, you didn't, but I
think you got. Right. You looked at a weird.
Stuart Mandel's.
Oh, is it? It's because the group of 5 has to be in. That's what it is. Okay, I'm an idiot. Sorry, because that's assuming that the top 4 conference champions or top 6, right? That's what I'm forgetting. The top 6 conference champions would be in, and that gets group of 5 teams in. So you're right. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I just went off.
I would like it just to be the 12 best, but
yeah.
Listen, Tulane being in, that's intriguing. I'd like to see that.
I think on some years we would prefer just get the best 12. On other years, it would be you're okay with it. And I think there are some qualifiers too, aren't there? Like they have to be ranked in a certain spot to be able to
listen.
Eligible.
Just this is me. Put the rules in and then just give me the bracket.
Right.
We get to, I don't need to go through the clearly I'm too stupid to understand it. So just give me what the bracket is and I'm good. That'd be perfect.
Yep. I agree.
All right. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Oh, I had to go with OU men's hoops.
Ooh.
Dropping the opener to Sam Houston State. Not how you wanted to start off the year. The interesting thing was like typically if you lose to a team like that, they just came in and shot the lights out from 3 or something and had a one-off game, but that wasn't really the case at all. Sam Houston didn't just play particularly well on offense. 52-51. You had the lead late and they go down and bury a transition 3 on you to win the game. Just really, really tough. Some of our guys really struggled. Jalen Hill really struggled, was 0 for 7 on the game. CJ Nolan was 0 for 5, 0 for 3 from 3. So just a very difficult way to start off the season for Oklahoma.
And I know it was kind of like a scramble situation there late, But it was the one guy you couldn't let shoot the open three. Like the
Yeah.
one guy that he was hot. What was it? Wilkerson, I think was his name. This is the one guy. Leave anyone else wide open but that guy, and he buries it, dude. And
Right in front of his bench too. They all knew it as soon as they let go of it.
it broke my heart for OU fans because like we're
We
down
need you
bad
to
right
win.
now. We're down bad right now, man. And it was like someone just kicked us all right in the nuts while we were down. It's just like, damn, man.
It was funny though because I saw the same tweet in a handful of different formats, basically saying, "When does softball season start?"
Yeah. No, I hear it. Oh man, that I felt for Porter Moser. Not the way
I know
you
it.
want to start the season, especially with how the Big 12 is looking.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
there's
going to be another year.
some squads in the conference this year. All right, for my winner of the week, I'm going with Tennessee. Listen, I understand they got smacked by Georgia. I get it. But they come in at number 5, and when you start taking a look at the landscape, Ted, I think they're in a really good spot. I think I'm not going to say they're a lock for the college football playoff, but you think about, Michigan and Ohio State. They still have to play each other. And then not only do they have to play each other, they got to go win a Big Ten championship game.
Yep.
Right.
Then
Then
the Pac-12, Oregon, USC, and UCLA. It has to play itself out.
yeah. So you've got the Pac-12 situation. Remember, USC, they got to beat UCLA. They got to beat Notre Dame.
Notre Dame too. Yep.
Also, who is looking like a much better team right now. Then got to go beat Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game. Oregon still has Utah. And then they've got UCLA or USC in a Pac-12 championship game. You look at the Big 12, right? TCU got Texas this weekend. Still have Baylor. Still got to go win a Big 12 championship game, a rematch against somebody, against a team that's going to be a good team that's capable of beating them.
And we still feel like they've got to go undefeated too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
in Tennessee, you look at the remaining schedule. Remember, not going to have to play in the SEC title game. They got Missouri at home, South Carolina on the road, and Vandy at home. Those are their 3 remaining games. They're sitting there at number 5 going, all right, let the chaos ensue around us. We feel pretty good about where we're sitting.
Extra bye week built in there, with the SEC championship game. It would be nice to go hoist the SEC trophy, right? It's going to be disappointing for them to not play in it, but it goes down a little bit easier whenever you got a college football playoff berth just sitting there waiting on you.
And if you're wondering, but they're not even going to play in the championship game. They're not even going to win their division. We've seen it before. Bama in 2017, Ohio State in 2016. This is hilarious. The only one-loss SEC team that has been left out of the college football playoff was A&M in 2020 in the COVID year. So, which gave me a good chuckle. Now, LSU is the team that can really make this thing interesting, right?
They could definitely make it as a 2-loss team.
Yeah, and they've got Arkansas this weekend, finish up with UAB and Texas A&M, and then a possible SEC championship game. So, yeah, I'll say this. LSU wins out, goes and wins an SEC championship game. They are in. There's no debate. I mean, it's just that's how it's going to be. So I'm really interested to see what happens with Tennessee, though, because I feel like they're just kind of just sitting there waiting, and it looks like it could all work out for them.
Is the scenario that far-fetched for 3 SEC teams? Like we talked about the Pac-12 situation, like that could devour itself. Right?
I do not believe Tennessee, like if LSU, and I know Tennessee smacked LSU, I understand that. But if LSU runs the table, wins the SEC, you've got 1 loss Georgia, Tennessee's out.
You think
you're going to get someone from the Big Ten and then someone from the Pac-12 or Big 12. You're not going to get 3 SEC teams. I don't think they could do it. I think that they realize what a disaster they would create for themselves if they did that.
Yeah.
You got to have some awareness if you're the committee.
I'll tell you why I would like it. because it would expedite the 12-team playoff.
That's true. It's a good point.
If you're sick of this and you want the 12-team playoff, since this year is already in the trash can for Oklahoma, as far as making the playoff, I mean, they still got stuff to play for. Root for an all SEC playoff, because we'll have a 12-team playoff next year. Everyone else in the country will be pissed.
Yeah, let's do it.
But what about North Carolina? Any road for North Carolina as a one-loss team?
Have you watched?
I know, that's
Drake
why I'm
May
asking.
play.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's
boy.
why I'm asking.
Is he going to win the Heisman Trophy?
No.
I don't think he is either, but his stats, I mean, you got to realize he's got over 500 yards more passing than CJ Stroud. He's got 2 more touchdowns. He's got 1 less interception. He's got 513 rushing yards.
Impressive.
He's got 5 rushing touchdowns. They're 8-1. He's been incredible.
Yep. Knocking on the door of what, 3,000 yards passing right now, and doing it at a high clip, over 70% completion percentage. Dude's a stud. He's just a sophomore. Is that right?
He's a freshman.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's now I say
he's bigger than I thought too. 6'4", 220.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big dude. Now I say he's a freshman. I think it's just his first year playing.
Right.
So
his class is listed as a freshman, so he's either.
I honestly don't follow recruiting close enough to know if he's a true freshman or not, but I know this. I've watched him play a couple times. That dude is a certified stud.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, it's going to be. I think he's a draft eligible 2024 guy, so he's got to be a redshirt freshman. Maybe not, but if him and Caleb Williams are in the same class, it'd be interesting to see who goes number 1 overall. So, I mean, that's how good he is. Like, he is legit.
That's crazy. And I don't know, man. If they were to win out, you'd have to have some chaos for them to be able to make
for sure.
it. But you know,
the one thing that North Carolina's got on its side is, man, those jerseys are sweet. That's a good look, man. People want to see those colors in the playoff. All right. For my loser of the week, and I think it's one of the most fascinating stories I've ever seen in sports. My loser of the week is the Indianapolis Colts. Now, my loser of the week is not Jeff Saturday. It's the Colts, because what the hell is going on? I mean, first of all, did you see Jim Irsay's presser?
I didn't see it. I read like a lot of people commenting on it. Like, what is happening here?
I'll give you some of the highlights. These are some of the highlight quotes. In the upper quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile. Which kind of put my brain in the pretzel. He was saying, "Hey, we've won at a pretty good clip here lately." Then he said,
mean they're in the top 4? Is that what that means?
I think so. I think that's what it meant.
Teams.
Yeah. He said, "I don't know how to make sausage. I don't know what goes into sausage, but I do know how to build a football team."
There's a correlation there.
Which is an all-time quote. And he also said, in reference to Jeff Saturday having no NFL coaching experience, he said, "I'm glad he hasn't had the NFL experience." He went on to say, it's like, oh, he won't be scared like some other coaches are. It was a hell of a presser. But what do we think? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Ted, we've never seen anything like this. I mean, Jeff Saturday, let's be real, hell of a player, incredibly well respected in NFL circles. This was a guy, he was the head of the NFLPA, right? Played a huge role in, what was it, like 2 CBAs ago, getting that deal done. I mean, a lot of people like him. I like him as an analyst. I've enjoyed him on ESPN, but he goes from the ESPN desk to the headset and being a head coach. Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
He's got no coaching experience. Out. Some people are like, oh, he coached high school football in Georgia. Listen, I know that they play a high level of football in Georgia, but that is not comparable, people. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is. But here's the thing, I actually don't mind it. And the reason is, like, I wouldn't want to, like, sometimes there's no reason to put undue burden on someone else on the staff, right? If you promote an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, I I don't mind putting someone in there that's just going to be a CEO. I We're going to keep our same schedule for the most part. We may change a couple of things. Like, here's who I want, calling plays. Here's, he's not going to be into any of the game planning stuff, and probably not even going to be very involved in like any of the going forward on fourth down and stuff. It's going to be a totally chart driven deal. So I guess I don't necessarily mind it because he's going to be a strictly out of it CEO type of head coach, but it is totally off the wall.
Did you hear what our boy Orlovsky said on Dan Patrick?
Mm-mm.
It's pretty interesting because you kind of think, oh, this came out of nowhere, right? Well, Dan was talking to Dan Patrick, and he basically said, well, for the last several weeks, Jeff and we've been having some, discussions about coaching and philosophy, who the good coaches are, like what the best schemes in the league are. And it was almost like Orlovsky had that moment where he's like, oh, that's why he was asking me all those questions. Like, he was gathering information. Like, I think this has been in the works for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least Saturday, it sounds like he's been preparing for it.
Yeah.
So maybe he kills it. I know a lot of people are upset because it feels like he cuts the line. Man, it's kind of just life. I mean, the guy was a hell of a player. He's loved around that organization. The owner of the team loves him. So it is what it is, but it's just so different than anything we've ever really seen in this type of situation. The Colts are going to be like must-watch TV now. Everyone's going to be like, all right, what's it look like? And luckily, Jeff Saturday, he's got Sam Ehlinger as the starting quarterback, so what could go wrong? It'll be fine.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that the expectations are nearly he's not stepping in for head coach at Alabama, whenever Nick Saban just retired, right? Like, this is a ground up rebuild, and maybe just not even maybe just be a short term thing. Like, he's taking over for the rest of this season, and then maybe he transitions to a front office type of position. I don't know how that works, but I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe this is their way to get Peyton Manning to come back. Some of the NFL clips,
get the old band back together for a different reason.
If you haven't seen some of the NFL film stuff of Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday yelling at each other, it is some of my favorite NFL content ever. It's like the only guy ever that would yell at Peyton Manning was Jeff Saturday. It's awesome. They just go at it. It's great. But yeah, I really hope it works, man. I think that'd be a really cool story.
Yeah.
Seems like an extremely well-respected guy. So I don't know. I got no idea what's going to happen.
I'm open to it. I'm open to it working. One of the things that a lot of people try and do, and they try and do this in college and they try and do it in pro, and, sometimes it definitely has its merits, is you just hire the guru, right? You just hire the guy that's got the best offense at the time. And sometimes there's a reason to do that. And other times there's really not a reason to do that. Like, why do they have the best offense? Is it simply because they have the best quarterback in the league? I think you got to look a little bit deeper. Like, I don't mind going with a CEO style head coach that can implement the right things and right players. And as long as they have a good approach, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. The players may be confused, but you and I both know this. When that guy walks in the room, they're going to respect him.
Yeah.
Right. You go to 6 Pro Bowls. You're Peyton Manning. Said it like, you're going to respect the guy. There's no doubt. Now, I'm really interested to see what the offense looks like. You got Ellinger at quarterback, and he is Saturday named Parks Frazier as the offensive play caller. 30 years old, and you'll love this, Ted. College degree in computer science.
Nice.
Nerd.
Analytic guy. Well,
Yeah,
so's Mike McDaniel down at Miami. He's a nerd. They're doing great.
Did you see Mike McDaniel talk about Justin Fields?
Yeah.
He goes over to the sideline. If you missed it, people, it's hilarious. Like Justin Fields scrambles over the sideline right by McDaniel. McDaniel said something to him. Fields is laughing. They asked him about it in a press conference, and he said, "Yeah, I told him to stop scrambling, to please stop scrambling." He's like, he didn't take the coaching. He didn't listen. Like, that guy is goofy. I love it.
Yep, I do too.